Alright, self-defense knives. They're my favorite. I love them. They're just awesome. They're scary. And they're just awesome. So I got another one for you guys today. So let's talk blades, because that's what we're into. Right now, I have for you guys a Coldsteel. Now, not a lot of people really care too much about Coldsteel, especially nowadays. The people that I've talked to, some of them are a little bit disappointed in Coldsteel's current stuff that they've come out with, and I have to admit, currently they've been dropping the ball, and I think it's because they're trying to do things that are a little bit more affordable and a little less expensive, I guess. But these were probably my last favorite purchase from them, because they've really done a good job. I really like their first black Tallon. Yeah, that's what it is, the Coldsteel Black Tallon 2, if you guys haven't seen the name on the blade already. But the first black Tallon, it was a really chunky handle, and it was huge. It wasn't really pocket friendly. I wanted to get one, but then I just stirred away from it because I just didn't like the way it looked. It just looked way too huge in the hand, and I don't really have big hands or big pockets, and I don't want it to take up that kind of space. I'm not saying that I got sissy hands, but there are some knives that I put in my hand and I'm like, ugh, this is just way too huge. It's way too big. It's way too uncumbersome, and I hate to feel what it's like to have it in my pocket. So anyways, enough rambling. Black Talon 2. It is G10 handle scales. Very slim. The first Black Talon that came out wasn't as slim. Like I said, it was a really chunky knife, and it features their ever so famous triad lock, which, if you guys haven't already tried looking at what the triad lock is, it's the strongest lock on the market, at least from what I know. So, Black Talon 2. Sorry, it's a little bit dusty. And it is CTS XHP. It is a carpenter steel. And yeah, it is from Taiwan. Sorry about that. There are no, excuse me, there are no liners, no steel liners in there. It is strictly the G10 handles throughout. A little dusty, I do apologize. But there is no handle scales in there, so it's good on weight reduction. It is a little bit wide in the pocket. I mean, you got all that sitting in there. Love their pocket clips, by the way. Coldsteel makes fantastically strong pocket clips, less likely to get caught on stuff. As you can tell, the lip of that pocket clip is actually bent down at an angle, so it's less likely to get caught on stuff. I said that in the loop. That was weird. Anyways, it is in a hooked Talon form, thus the name, the Talon, Black Talon. This is a self-defense knife, yes. And yeah, I've opened up packages with it. I've cut some strands off of a shirt when I was trying to, look nice. But this is a very scary knife. Oh, and it features kind of like a wave. As you can tell, there's a little dip here, and then you got this thumb disc. And as that implies, this catches on your pocket as you draw it. As long as it's all the way up to the seam of your pocket while it's in there, you draw it and it catches onto that seam of that pocket and it flips it open. And yes, I keep getting requests from people saying that I need to do a video on how all the wave knives operate. I will do that, but for right now I kind of want to just do the knives before I start doing that, because I'm still trying to get comfortable with things here. But it will happen, it will come, so don't worry. Shut up. So yeah, Black Talon 2, and I've carried this particular, I carried the serrated one for the better half of about a year, simply because there were some sketchy people that was around a certain area, and I just needed that little bit of extra comfort. And I did color. I actually took this pocket clip off. I went to Michael's and I bought a black metal spray paint, and yeah, I spray painted and customized the pocket clip just so it's not so shiny. And of course, it's starting to come off. It's good. It lasted maybe about a couple months before it actually started chipping and falling off, but it's whatever. Not a huge deal. And yes, this is the same steel, the CTS XHP carpenter steel. Tough steel. What I know about carpenter steel is that it's not exactly the easiest thing to sharpen, at least for me anyway. But it holds a great edge. It is a great tool steel, and it manages pretty fine. So, and as you can tell, this side right here doesn't really, I mean, ooh, did I just cut myself? Felt that. I'm not bleeding. I just felt my skin getting hung up on the edge. And by the way, if you get a cold steel knife, you guys have to understand, cold steel is ridiculously sharp out of the package. I just poked my pinky just now with just the tip of that knife. Yeah, I'm going to put this down for a second when I do my hand gestures so I don't end up bleeding on camera. Cold steel is sharp. It comes sharp. It even says it on the box. Warning, sharp knife. Or knife extremely sharp, better yet. So, my whole thing about cold steel is, when you get something like that, be aware. Because these, I've handled many knives. I own many knives. But they're not as sharp as cold steel. Cold steel is ridiculously sharp, ridiculously strong. It even says it on their boxes, world's sharpest, strongest knives. Now, regardless of whether or not you believe it, or you can have your own opinion at the end of the day, my opinion is, yes, that is true, because that's just what I know. I have many knives, and I can tell you none of them are as sharp as a cold steel, and none of them perform as well as a cold steel as far as their triad lock, how strong and how durable, how chunky and beefy. You could literally beat down on a cold steel, and it'll last you for a good while before it fails. And everything has its limits. I'm not going to say that it's indestructible, because it's not. It's a load of crud if you're into that sort of thing. Alright, so if you're looking at price tag on this, for some weird reason, I don't know why, but the serrated one right here with all the teeth, and yeah, it's pretty vicious, this one came out to be $105 on Amazon, maybe $104 and change. And then this one is a little bit more. It's $125 even. And yeah, it has that. It just feels great. Even though it's thin, it sits in the hand, every bit of it. And then you got the jimping right here, just on the handle scales, not really on the metal. And it's just a big old hook that you can use for self-defense. No training needed. You just carry this around and feel just a little bit more confident wherever you go. So let's go ahead and get some specs on those guys for you guys, for those things these guys do. Can't speak English good. Alright, so you're looking at a 4-inch blade. From the ricasso to this weird hook tip right here, you're looking at a little bit more, like 4.5 inches. Overall length, yeah, a little bit about 9.5 inches. So 9.5 inches. Closed and in pocket. Let's just kind of do that kind of weird measurement. So a little bit about, like, yeah, 5.5, maybe a little bit over 5.5 inches in the pocket. Now I said it's thin, so let's just check and see how thin it actually is. 9.8. Yeah, it's pretty good. Blade thickness, let's get that for you guys. 3.2. Yeah, pretty thin, very, very strong. And let's go ahead and get you guys some weight on this. So if you're wondering, I mean, this is cold steel. A lot of cold steels are beefy, and that's just how they're designed. What the heck is that? That is not what I wanted. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. That was weird. I wasn't expecting that. What the? Alright. Ounces. There we go. Alright. Sorry about that. Did I get that right? Okay. So 4.72 ounces on this knife. Under 5 ounce knife. Yeah, it's pretty light. So I'm sure the other one is the same way, because they're basically the same knife. It's just one has a regular blade, and then the other one has the serrated, which is the teeth. And it's up to you guys whether or not you want to look into that. Yes, that is G10 if I haven't already mentioned that. It's a good knife. I've carried it. You can't really use it for too much. Spyderco makes one that has the actual Emerson Wave on there. This one is just kind of like a copy of the Emerson Wave, in my opinion, because it does the same thing. And with practice comes perfection. If you do it well enough, it comes out of the pocket lightning speed faster than any knife, unless it's a fixed blade. And yeah, it feels, like I said, it feels good in the hand. It's really thin. It's just the footprint that it leaves behind. I mean, you're having that's how wide it is in the pocket. So you're going to look at putting your hand in there, and you're going to have maybe your cell phone or your keys or something, and who knows how much pocket left you're going to have. But this is a great knife. I mean, that's just the overall thing. This was kind of rubbing up against my cell phone. It actually made a few scratches on the side of my cell phone because of how, or I'm sorry, this side was in my pocket, and then my cell phone was right next to it in the same pocket. But if I needed to draw this out, about that much sticks out of your pocket. So it's just enough to pull it out and then have it catch onto your pocket, flick open, and then you got to reposition it. But it was really comfortable having it in the hand and having it. I mean, it's really intimidating if you were to pull this out. I've never had to, thank goodness, and I hope and pray that I never will. But these are one of those knives, just a little bit of a confidence booster in my opinion. But if you're looking at it, it's a great Coldsteel knife for self-defense. So that's what I got for you today. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.